They want a fight. Don't give them one. Master your patience. Control the perception. And watch them destroy themselves while you rise silently to the top. Power is not always loud. Real power is silent, patient, and calculating. Many people think leadership is about shouting orders, showing dominance, or crushing opposition in open battle. But history whispers a colder truth. The greatest victories are often won before the fight even begins. When you understand human nature, when you understand fear, loyalty, ambition, and weakness, you do not need to raise your voice. You only need to move the pieces carefully and let others walk into the position you prepared for them. Joseph Stalin once ruled one of the most powerful nations in the world. Whether admired or criticized, his leadership style was built on control, strategy, and psychological dominance. He understood something many leaders ignore: if you control the narrative and the environment, your enemy defeats himself. You do not waste energy fighting storms. You become the climate. The first thing you must do to defeat an enemy without a fight is to master patience. Most people react. They get angry quickly. They expose their intentions through emotion. But patience is a weapon sharper than any sword. When you remain calm, you see clearly. When you see clearly, you notice patterns. You notice who talks too much, who seeks approval, who hides insecurity behind arrogance. Information becomes your shield. Silence becomes your strategy. An impatient enemy makes mistakes. He speaks when he should listen. He attacks when he should observe. He reveals his plan because he wants immediate satisfaction. But the patient leader waits. Waiting does not mean weakness. Waiting means preparation. It means you are building strength quietly while others are busy proving themselves. Leadership is not about showing all your cards. It is about understanding the table better than anyone else. When people underestimate you, they lower their guard. When they think you are unaware, they become careless. This is where true advantage is born. Silence unsettles opponents. Calmness confuses aggression. And clarity dismantles chaos. The second thing you must do is control perception. People rarely act based on truth. They act based on what they believe is true. If you influence belief, you influence action. This is why strong leaders focus not only on reality but on how reality is seen. Control the story, and you control the outcome. When others fear losing influence, they overextend themselves. When others crave attention, they expose their weaknesses. You do not need to fight them. Simply allow their own desires to lead them into traps of their making. If someone is driven by ego, give them a stage. Their ego will eventually betray them. If someone is driven by greed, offer them temptation. Their greed will cloud their judgment. A leader must understand that enemies often destroy themselves through excess. Too much pride leads to isolation. Too much ambition leads to recklessness. Too much anger leads to mistakes. Your role is not to interfere too soon. Your role is to observe, document, and act only when the moment is undeniable. Power grows in silence. Loud people want recognition. Strong people want results. The difference is visible over time. Those who chase quick victories often lose long wars. Those who build quietly often win without resistance. There is a discipline in restraint that weak minds cannot comprehend. You must also master emotional distance. An enemy may insult you, provoke you, attempt to humiliate you publicly. If you react emotionally, you give him control. When you refuse to react, you take control back. Emotional discipline is terrifying to opponents because they cannot predict you. They cannot manipulate what they cannot move. Leadership requires understanding that fear and respect are currencies. But fear without strategy creates rebellion. Respect without authority creates disorder. Balance is the secret. A calm presence that commands order without constant force becomes unshakable. Many believe defeating an enemy means destroying him. But sometimes true victory is neutralizing him. Make him irrelevant. Remove his influence. Shift attention elsewhere. When he realizes he no longer matters, the fight ends without a single blow. Study people. Observe alliances. Notice who follows strength and who follows opportunity. Human loyalty is often conditional. When you strengthen your position quietly, alliances shift naturally in your favor. You do not need to demand loyalty. You create an environment where loyalty benefits others. A wise leader also understands timing. Acting too early exposes your hand. Acting too late loses momentum. The art is in striking when the opponent is weakest internally, not necessarily when he appears weak externally. External strength can hide internal collapse. Watch for cracks in discipline, unity, and morale. If you want to defeat someone without fighting, build something greater than what they threaten. Strengthen your skills. Expand your network. Improve your strategy. When your growth surpasses their aggression, they become insignificant. Growth is silent revenge. Never reveal your full intentions. Let others assume. Assumptions create blind spots. Blind spots create vulnerability. The more predictable you are, the easier you are to defeat. The more disciplined you are, the harder you are to challenge. Control information carefully. Speak less than you know. Reveal less than you plan. Listen more than you respond. Information asymmetry is power. When you know more about your opponent than he knows about you, the outcome is rarely uncertain. Some enemies seek confrontation because they thrive on drama. Deny them the stage. Refuse the performance. When there is no audience, many conflicts die naturally. Attention fuels aggression. Silence starves it. Remember that reputation can be stronger than force. If your record shows consistency, discipline, and strategic thinking, many enemies will hesitate before challenging you. They will question whether the risk is worth it. Doubt is a powerful deterrent. You must also understand that unity is strength. Divide your enemy's support quietly. Create uncertainty within their ranks. When doubt spreads internally, leadership weakens. Conflict within is more destructive than conflict from outside. A leader who understands psychology does not chase every insult. He chooses his battles carefully. He fights only when victory is certain or necessary. Otherwise, he lets time weaken opposition naturally. Time is often the greatest ally. Impulsive enemies burn quickly. Patient leaders endure. Endurance wins wars that aggression cannot. Develop competence so strong that it becomes intimidating. When you are excellent at what you do, criticism loses power. Enemies shift from attacking you to competing with you. And in competition, skill prevails over noise. Control your environment. Choose your battles. Shape the narrative. Protect your energy. And most importantly, never let your opponent dictate your rhythm. When you set the pace, you define the game. Leadership is not about brutality. It is about influence. Influence moves people. Influence shapes decisions. Influence wins outcomes quietly. If someone stands against you, ask yourself, do they threaten your mission or your ego? If it is only ego, walk away. If it is mission, strategize calmly. The moment you separate emotion from objective, you become dangerous in a way noise never can. 2. Defeat an enemy without a fight. Master patience and control perception. These two principles, when combined, create invisible dominance. Others may not see the strategy unfolding, but they will feel its effect. In the end, the strongest leaders are not those who shout the loudest or strike the hardest. They are those who understand human behavior deeply, act deliberately, and remain composed under pressure. Victory without battle is not weakness. It is mastery.